Welcome, friends, to the Arcthane channel. Tonight, we're going to be doing a one-on-one mini D&D session. It's not exactly going to be like normal Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to be very story-driven. There won't be any dice being rolled, but we will be just enjoying a flashback, a tale of a character in Tomb of Annihilation by the name of Valphine, played by our dear friend Josh, who has just arrived in the nick of time. He has his drink. We gotta have it. I wish I had mine, but I don't. I just have a regular Coke.
May or may not be spiked.
Ooh, gosh, please give me some of that. Help me go to bed later.
Hazelnut coffee.
Oh, really?
Hazelnut creamer.
And
salted caramel Kahlua.
Salted caramel Kahlua. Oh, that sounds like a good drink. Damn. Yes, we are going to be dipping into something that I like to do with my players. I like to have them come in and we illustrate a scene of their past. I do this a lot with War, our turtle friend, in his different dreamscapes, and now we are doing one with Valphine, which I think is very exciting because you're the only other one that we've actually gotten to dip in and really do this with. So I think this is going to be exciting. We have things that I drew over here for the setup. We have stuff that we've written, so it's going to be a lot of just storytelling, a lot of collaborating together. A lot of what is written could be changed in the moment. It's going to be very loosey-goosey. No massive expectations. We're not putting those kind of weights on ourselves. We're just having a good time.
There's going to be lots of I imagine in this episode.
There's going to be lots of I imagine and I visualize and I think and this would be cool, and that's just going to be jumping in. Should be an hour, it could be 2 hours. We don't know how long we're going. We're going to complete the scene. We know where it begins, we know where it ends. We'll get this illustrated and recorded and up in different places, and have this story of this extra story of Valphine, who's already holding so many cards. We get one laid down on the table, and I think that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, she's been holding them.
Do we want Joshua? Do we want a setup to this? Do we want to talk? Do we want to jump just right into the scene and what you've begun and written, or do we want to do like me do just sort of a loosey-goosey intro as to like kind of set the scene, and then we jump into what you got? What do you think?
What you thinking?
It would make more sense, I think. I'm thinking like the plan. I'm thinking like what is the plan, kind of thing. I don't know if we have to get so far into the details of your relation. Well, we probably could. I mean, it depends upon like what kind of detail we want to do. I don't want to give too much setup, but I do. I wonder if it will be beneficial to people viewing this to understand the plan.
Okay. So like a foundation of
what probably would have been like laid out in the beginning. Like before you even tackled the Blackford crossing, like maybe we get a peek of some kind at the planning process of tackling this thing, because even in what you've written, this was like a lot of preparation for these characters, wasn't it?
It kind of. Yeah, I would think so.
This is a big gig.
It's a big deal. Yes, big gig.
This is a big deal. Maybe I'll just do it Ocean's 11 style and just hit it up like why you're here, what you're here to get, how you get in and how you get out, kind of thing. Is that?
Yeah.
Do you think that would be legit?
Yeah. Or hit the pause button at one point if there's not enough detail.
Okay. Yeah.
The one more clarification.
Okay. All good.
Ooh. This is not Neverwinter. This is
Blackford Crossing. This is a place owned by, controlled more or less by the city of Luskan, which is the city of many sails. The city of Luskan is ruled by a governing body of mages known as the Arcane Brotherhood. They're ruled by like another kind of government, but it's really the Arcane Brotherhood that's more or less in charge. Blackford Crossing is a place that's probably about 50 miles off of the city of Luskan itself, but it is a major fortification of the city of Luskan and is a major sort of tradeway as well. Has these two big towers on either side. One's called Blackford Crossing and the other is called, you can make that up if you want, because I don't know what the other side is called.
I think I think it lends more to it to keep it unnamed. It's
Yeah.
more, what's in a name?
What's in exactly? So you're in the
What's in a name?
Blackford. So this is Blackford Castle at Blackford Crossing, and that's kind of like the area that we're in. So our story is going to focus in directly on both Valphine and another character that we've never seen before in Tomb of Annihilation, a companion that is mysterious to us, but we may learn more about this individual. Somebody that Valphine knew long before she was with the party, and I think we'll learn more about that person. I think because I don't think the name is ever addressed in any actual dialogue. I think we could say the pretty badass name you came up with literally just this afternoon, which is Ilion, which I absolutely love. What's his last name again? Fire
Flame Seeker.
Flame Seeker. Oh, it's good. It's very, very good. Excellent. So the plan, the big jumbo heist. So I think we established before that you are not with the Zentarum, but you are working for them. That's kind of what we established, right?
Yeah, so the background of this is the two of them work pretty well together.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been hired on to do this job.
Yeah,
Big job.
big,
Yes.
big job.
We're talking weeks to months of prep.
Oh yeah, there was some pretty intense prep.
Yep, intense prep, acquiring items that may or may not assist.
We're gonna get into that. I'm gonna jump you too with like some things. Like I'm gonna ask you midway through some of my stuff a couple things that you may have prepped, and we'll be able to make that up in the moment, which I think will be really fun.
So the idea behind this is we're both on this job.
Mm-hmm.
Together, and that pretty much kind of, there isn't really a whole lot more to lay out. It required a lot of preparation, and we're going to execute it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And you have a pretty set plan in mind. Do we want to let that plan play itself out, or do we want to like lay out what it is that you guys had in mind at the beginning?
Oh, I think we can play.
Okay, yeah, I think we can play it out.
Think we'll play it out.
Yeah, we'll play it out. We got big old heist. I think it's gonna be pretty. This is pretty legit. So I think we start our story on your side of things. I think you are you begin this tale, and then I'm going to step in. And then we'll mix and match, and then I'll bring it to a close. Right. And I think that's how we'll do this. So when you are ready, friend, let me get my lines ready so that I know I'll read along and know when I'm talking. All right.
Let me know when you are set, sir.
I'm set with the first line.
You're set. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Thunder clapped suddenly. Rain falling to the dark, damp ground as a chill air, accompanied by a sinewy fog, lingers in the valley. The sound of water kissing stone reverberates throughout the area as torchlight flickers in the mist, barely visible on the horizon. Without warning, it rushes closer until it becomes nearly too bright for your eyes to bear, then immediately fades. Through the dark thunderstorm, the sheets of rain part as two cloaked figures encroach upon the dark, unlit stone expanse of a southern wall of a remote fort on the plains of Blackford Crossing. Said to contain an ancient relic of unlimited value, the two were contracted to infiltrate the heavily guarded fort and return the item to their handlers. After a momentary pause, both dexterously locate the necessary hand and footholds to scale the structure, moving quickly up its face without a sound or spoken word between them. Arriving at the stone battlement at the top, concealed from the patrolman who lazily wanders along his designated route by the very stonework he protects, they wait patiently for the guard to pass. He seemingly disappears 20 to 30 meters as his armor clacks noisily, now obscured completely by the downpour, as thunder booms across the valley again and lightning pierces the mist. The figures are gone, only drizzling water from the top of the parapet, filling the hand and footholds where they once were. Inside one of the nearest towers, a candle flickers against the gray stone, as a guard leans toward the glass panes of a window, rain streaming down on the outside. His head resting in his hand, his eyes drift outward toward the landscape, and then suddenly dilate as the life leaves them. Blood sprays the inside of the glass and over his face as he drops to the floor with a sickening thud, accented by the clattering of his metal armor. Trailing along the stone, the blood reaches the leather boots of Valphine as she sheds her hood, the water from the storm wicking off of the material. She turns to the other figure, who also drops their hood, and their eyes meet.
We've come this far. That was close. Don't fuck it up.
The man speaks while crossing his arms, unamused. Pardon that. Gonna silence this garbage.
You good. This first part's so good.
The figure adjacent to her speaks in a hushed, sarcastic tone, his voice muffled behind a scarf wrapped tightly over the lower half of his face. Eyes narrowing sharply like daggers in her direction, he appears to scold her through the flicker of a lightning flash that causes them to glint for a brief moment, then fade back to the orange-colored flame barely a meter from them.
It's only a single guard in here, and there's a thunderstorm outside at the very beginning of a shift change.
Valphine glances over her shoulder for a brief second, firing back a sarcastic quip as she turns her body away from him. Do you really think they'll miss him? Visibly smirking in the dim candlelight, she quickly uses the sleeve of her cloak at the inner elbow to wipe the blood from her short blade, the blood spattering gently on the stonework floor.
Regardless, we prepared too long for this to go south now.
He watches as she crosses the room. I know, Valphine responds curtly.
This is what the last few months have led us to.
Right. Only half listening, Valphine moves to the other side of the room, begins to work at picking the lock that leads to the great inner hall where the relic was reportedly held. Waving him off as he vocalizes his frustration, her fingers move quickly to the lock, the faint clicking of the tumblers inside of the mechanism, complaining against metal as they're forced to move outside of their designed range. A loud twang and a snap echo through the room. She frowns and peers downward as she holds out her hand, and the pick lies broken in her palm, the door still sealed.
You're not listening to me.
He sighs, exasperated. She glares sideways at the figure in the dark, pocketing the now shattered lockpick, her hand casually resting on the opposite hip.
This isn't like our usual jobs.
He calmly scolds her.
The stakes are higher this time.
Isn't that what we wanted? She responds, reaching into her pouch for another lockpick.
Wanted?
A huge payout. Retire on an island somewhere together.
Of course. But not with the potential of losing you in the process.
Valphine pauses for a moment as his words linger in the air, feeling his gaze pierce the center of her back. Muttering something under her breath, she pulls another lockpick from a satchel on her belt, ready to make a second attempt at opening the door. You worry too much, she replies softly, her words trailing off.
You mean too much to me not to worry about.
Distracted, she tries to fidget with the tumblers in the lock again, and fails as the metal of the lockpick gives way and bends to the side.
This is where I step in. Oh, thank you so much for that first part, Josh. It's so tasty. Every bit. I loved reading it. Oh, and having you read it back is even better. It's great. All right, let's keep the momentum moving. The series of tumblers inside the lock far surpass what you would have expected from this kind of door. It's a constant process of one step forward and two steps back, with each inch gained equivalent to that of a mile. This is a masterwork lock, but it's not her first. As each lever is aligned with the last, the metalwork finally surrenders to her skilled hands. We hear a large click as the latch releases and the door swings open. Instead of a chamber beyond, though, we see a solid surface. This one not mundane in the least. Decorated and adorned with runes and carvings, we watch as the gate door and the brick wall framing it begin to dissolve away. Before us lies the true gate to the chamber within. Adorned on this broad barrier are the symbols of the 8 schools of magic. Looks like Sadir was right. Well, we came prepared. You know Sadir to be the inside man that you had in the Arcane Brotherhood, the individual who helped you understand exactly where this place is and what it would take to get inside. You know, well, she rather, knows that this door requires the participation of one high-ranking member from each school of the Arcane Brotherhood. Her companion, Ilion, pulls out the items they acquired, or contraption that they together created to pass this gate. Recently, on instruction of Sadir, they had collected the 8 necessary pieces. Let's talk about how they did this. What was involved? What is the device? Collections of items or contraptions? What is it? What did you acquire from 8 headmasters of the Arcane Brotherhood? It could be as gruesome as an eye. You could have killed these guys. It could be an item on their person that you had to acquire. Perhaps a memory even. Like, it could go in so many different directions to be something cool, but you have something of each of them that is required to open this door. What do you think it is? Let's work that out. And what does it look like?
I wouldn't think that the 2 of them would be really into the body parts game.
The body parts game. I don't think so either.
It would be more like, I like the memory from one of the council, trapped in some kind of magic box.
Oh, okay. So you have like, because we need 8 pieces. So would it be a memory of each of them trapped in one box?
I would think so.
That's
if it had
so cool.
Yeah. So an enchanted box is just kind of waiting to be released. Like, if you open it up, they'll escape. So very valuable. You can't. Crazy process to go and actually get those.
Hands the box to you. You're in front of this huge door, which I'm imagining is almost circular in nature, when before you were facing very much your standard like hall, like great hall chamber doors that would just swing open. This has become something entirely different. Ilion hands you the box, which I want you to describe to me what it looks like, but I know that he says, "After you, miss," and hands that to you. Do you have any details you want to add to this, and what does this look like? Because you're going to be like activating these 8 runes on this door in one way or another. You illustrate what that looks like to me, for me.
So it's going to be purposeful. They've been planning this for months.
Oh yeah.
Without flinching, she's going to take it from him and turn toward the locks on the door. And glance over at the 8 rooms and flip open the latch on the box.
Yeah. Do we see those memories like shoot out into each room? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, they fly out, large white balls of light, and they leave like streams of smoke as if they're burning the air in their wake. And they dart around.
Good.
And almost all at once, they all rush to their respective runes. For purpose, they know exactly where they need to go, which slot they fit in.
That's great. Okay, cool. That's perfect. Yeah, we see each rune light up. As the rune's conditions are met, we see immediately a spectral version of the door push forward and float in the space before you. You step back, and the apparition then lurches forward immediately, shrinking as it wraps itself around the 2 companions. From the perspective out in the hall, they and the door turn to a single wisp of dust. leaving nothing left in the hallway but the lingering moonlight and the pitter-patter of the rain and thunder at the windows. From their perspective, we see something much more, though. The chamber beyond reveals itself. And if this was D&D map, this is when we go here. This is when we go to this place. Yes. This illustration over here. And I have some intro for you here. The air around them is thick, as if its weight has been doubled. There's a chill at their feet, and as they look down, they see that they are in an ankle-deep pool of water that dominates the floor of this chamber of endless horizons. But this is not a chamber at all. It's as if they are somewhere else, and Black Ford Crossing has been left behind. Dotting the landscape are massive pillars of twisted white stone, their surfaces etched with arcane runes, each glowing a vibrant blue like some exotic shore of a tropical island. Running water pours down the pillars and feeds into the lake at their feet. The gentle lapping sound of the waterfalls is the only noise that fills the air. There are no ripples in the water. Its surface remains as solid as a mirror. Above you, above them, at least 200 feet, floats the shadow of a sphere, cloaked in fog. Behind it, illuminated in the sky, is a series of symbols entirely unknown to the two companions. They look like this. What do they do? Josh, what do the companions do in this moment? What is their first action? Is there any back and forth? I'll play with you in this space. What do you do right now? Right now, this is nothing is happening. The room is very, very, very peaceful.
Yeah, I think Valphine would stand for a moment and kind of absorb. They knew what was beyond the door, but once they made it beyond the door, I think it still didn't really catch them by surprise, but being able to stand there and actually be in the room.
Yeah, I think
feel what the environment is like. Yeah.
Iliana is probably taken aback at just the sheer size.
Yeah, and the distance above us, 200 feet.
200 feet. It is just up one of these pillars, these twisted pillars.
So she would look over at Ilion and give him a playful grin and ask, so you ready?
Yeah. Weren't there supposed to be guardians?
I don't know.
Looking down, you see perfect reflections of yourself. It's very much like a mirror. Do you start moving? Do you imagine the two stepping forward to investigate the area?
Yeah, we would start searching for not necessarily latches or anything,
yeah,
but any clues as to how to bring the sphere to the floor or reach the sphere from here. Yeah.
I think you start to make your way towards a pillar, the two, and as they do, you see pieces of the pillar start to like move away, almost forming like a stair. But something is extremely off. Who notices it? Is it you or Ilion? Who knows? Who catches what's off?
Probably Ilion. Yeah.
He'll stop you and look down, and he goes, "Where's our reflections? They're not there."
Okay.
You're looking at a mirror, and it's like vampire style. There's nothing looking back at you. And you turn back to look, and you see them still standing opposite to you, facing like down, like upside down. And then we see them move up. What do they look like?
are reflections in the water, noticing that they're evil now.
Yeah, as they turn
think
their way up out of the
it
water.
it would look like the two of us, as if the color had been drained from our skin, and their eyes glow red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, red and blue. Oh, yeah. The colors drain
Yep.
from their skin. Yeah, I think Ilion will immediately. I think we see some sort of like magic flare in both of his hands, and I think he'll say, "We trained for this. You on me, me on you.
Right.
Are you ready?"
I was born ready.
As he flares up the magic, the other one does the same thing.
Valphine's gonna. Her repair is still sheathed. In one motion, she's gonna unsheath it and lunge at the his reflection.
Okay. Yeah, you lunge as reflection, and I think we immediately see the Valphine form just cross in between like just a perfect like block. Because I love what you were talking about before. Those two rapiers have to
Yeah.
meet. I think she immediately lunges in front to block the blade, and I feel like that kicks off the fight. That kicks off this fight that is happening between the two of you, or the four. There's four of you right now. Technically, it still is between the two of you, which is kind of interesting to say. Yeah, we see a very epic, beautiful dance between Valphine and Ilion and their mirrored individuals. Just this sort of interlacing battle where you're trying to get away from the other. I think we see Ilion's magic like reflecting off, two fireballs careening into each other. We can probably see the water like get ripped back from it, not touching the flames, and then recede back through in once the flames give way. What's a little bit of like give me some Valphine fight here. Give me some coolness to this battle.
It's gonna be your typical anime style, like high speed fight. It's just gonna be jumping over each other. Someone's gonna do a somersault and try and strike at the head, but the blades just continue to cross over and over.
Oh man.
Yeah, just a couple twirls to dodge, but it seems like neither one is ever getting ahead of the other.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely matched.
Yeah, Sadir told you. We I don't know if we flash back to that moment or not. But yeah, I think you definitely, we recall Sadir telling you they will be of equal match and skill to you in every way. What you bring in with you, they have as well. They are perfect guardians. There's not going to be a defeating them. There's just going to be a how long can we hold them off. They are going to be a constant issue. He also told you, he didn't tell you about this next part. I would like you to illustrate how the gas comes into play.
Oh no.
Because it's gonna, I love, so the way I illustrate it here is this edge. I'm imagining it just coming, it's just coming from the horizon. Like, because you can't see that edge. You have no idea that, like, this even drops off. So I'm imagining it just pours it, like, you go for it.
So in the back of her head, we'll say passive perception, since
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
While she's fighting, noticing that the colorless white mist is slowly constricting the area, rolling in over top of the water. Just kind of the mirror blends in with the fog as it rolls in. Yeah.
All right, yeah, we see it start to roll in, and I think that there will be points in the fight where you start to see that, and I think there's got to be a moment where you or Ilion, there's got to be some sort of quick, what the hell, issue, and like this smoke starts coming in, and the way it forms, the way I'm imagining it, isn't so much as it like just completely overtakes you, but I think it like moves in and almost like, I'm imagining just like nipping at you. It's like, it's not completely like filling the area, but it like comes in and we just and we can just hear the sting because you're in the middle of fighting, and we can see what it looks like. What does the wound look like?
So anywhere that's covered by clothing wouldn't be affected, but any bare skin, neck,
Oh yeah,
back of the hand, uh, maybe waist, depending on the maneuvers we're pulling. Yeah, it's just seared, like like it's burned by some fire unseen.
Exact. Oh yeah, like it's a straight up like third-degree burn.
Yeah.
Immediately the feeling of I need something to cool this down. Anything. You're in the midst of fighting. You have water below you. It's got to be either you or Ilion. One of you reaches down for water, to probably just get it. Maybe you get some space. Hold him off for a minute. I need to get, like, it's burning. There's got to be some sort of situation where you reach for this water to try to like cool down this burn. The minute you grasp for it, it gets in your hand. But the minute you try to apply it, it sucks. It just evaporates out of your hand towards the cloaked orb above you. The water will not offer you any form of relief. It gets taken away. As the situation is getting worse and worse, I think you probably hear Ilion shout out, "We don't have a lot of time. This is taking way too long. You've got more items than me. You need to go." And he points up.
I can't leave without you.
And he says, "I can handle it. I've got it. Don't worry." He clasps his hands together and immediately, I think, makes like what kind of spell does he use to hold his own here? What's something he like busts out that maybe you haven't seen a lot of, or he's maybe been trying and he's got it now?
He's clapping his hands together.
Yeah.
I would assume he would, to his namesake, I think he would clap his hands together and do he would do a spinning, like a weaving motion with his arms in a circle, and he'd lift a firewall around himself.
Oh man. Oh yeah, a complete firewall. And I think you can see, you don't know when he slipped it in or at one point, but he's got the hag eye in his socket. It's taken the place of his current eye, and you can see it. You know that's how it works. It like phases one eye out for the other, and you can like put it back, but he's got it in, and he's just like, "I can't believe we even made it in here. But that's where you need to go. Get up there."
She's gonna look down after she can take a breath from fighting the Guardian, and she's gonna flip open one of her pouches, and she's gonna pull out the Palioxus feather.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So yeah, the user. Yep.
Oh, I should say what the hag eye did.
Yeah, go ahead.
It gives the user insight of the next 10 seconds into the future, but they forget the previous 10 minutes of their life. So he said, "I can't believe we made it in here, but we're in, and I know that's where you have to go."
Yep. So she's gonna use the feather. I guess she's gonna kind of hold it up.
Yeah.
Above her head. And
Yes.
it would kind of hoist her. It wouldn't pull at her arm. Her whole body would just be lifted by some kind of unnatural force.
Okay, yeah, we see you start to rise, and we see your mirrored shadow figure start to like jump, like try to follow you up. Like there's two pillars really close by. It is trying to leap up and climb to you. And I think we immediately see as it leaps for you, it gets held in the air, and I think we see a spell from Ilion, a hold person spell, as this individual is just stopped in the air, unable to follow you as you escape up into the fog, and you just probably hear him. He says, "Go quickly," and you lift up. This next part I have written. More interaction for you though as we go. As you make your way past the cloaking fog of the sphere, it is finally revealed exactly what it is. We can see that its surface is that of a crashing ocean. Waves of angry force moving about its surface. At its center glows a light in the form of a shard, no bigger than a dagger's blade. What do you do?
I think as the power of the feather is lifting her slowly, you can see her like striving for it in the air, kind of reaching out, trying to grab it.
Yeah, you reach
Um,
out. You go into the waves. You
yes,
can feel the
yes.
cold, the bitter cold, almost like ice, as you plunge within. And as you plunge, your vision and senses are consumed by darkness. You can't breathe. You can barely move. Each moment is agonizingly long. Seconds, and only seconds, before the panic sets in, you hear a voice inside your head. I am the beginning and the end. The first painter of the material canvas. Before me, there was darkness. My seas carved existence from the black void of time. You are a single fish floating in a bottomless ocean. What's to stop the weight from crushing you? As is the fate of all things. You are unable to answer. You are unable to speak or converse with whatever this entity, this thing speaking to you is. This is not expected. This is not what you signed up for. It is now, in this moment. What is in Valphine's head? I want to know first what's going on in her mind.
Just, yeah, I guess the panic sets in. Trying to figure out, eyes darting back and forth, trying to see if there's a way to just catch a breath. She's so close to what she needs.
You're so close, and that breath is it's escaping you every time. It's in this moment, this tense, horrible, singular, long moment, that we see a single pinpoint of blue reflect within her eye. A sliver. Ahead of her in the darkness is the shard. She can see it. What does she do?
So this sphere of, what is it, darkness, ocean?
Yeah, sure. You feel as though you are
It's
plunged into the deepest depths of the ocean. You can't see anything else around you.
it's centered around this thing. I think pulling out the Brosbark stone,
Oh, shit.
she's going to grab some twine or some rope from in her pouch, and
Okay.
she's going to strap it to her forearm
Yes.
and will it to become heavy
Okay, yeah.
and use the gravity to pull her to the center of the sphere.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We immediately see it start pulling you towards the center. And then as you get close, so close, you see that the device, the magical, your magical brass bar, it's brought you mere feet away, and it freezes in place. This thing is not allowing you to get that final inch, and you hear the voice again. You reach, but it is too far. You are not deserving. I want you to tell me how, in this moment of desperation, and I have something if you don't, but I want to give you the opportunity. Does Ilion help you? What does he do? He could be up here. He could have plunged in too. I'm totally cool with that. He could do anything. He's got a mask that turns him into any animal, which is pretty sweet. What does he do to help you in this moment?
Oh shit! If he can break away from the mirror guardians.
In the scenario, let's say he could.
I think he's going to. He'll put the mask over his eyes.
Yeah.
And
I'm so excited.
I think he's gonna turn into he's gonna turn into a giant sea turtle.
Yes. Oh, that's sweet.
And he's gonna swim through and submerge himself, and he can see her reaching for it, just like through the darkness. You can see her hand stretched out toward the shard of light.
Yeah.
He's gonna rush in there.
Yeah, he's gonna rush in, and like he's probably just gonna like get under her, however it is, to get her to clasp onto that shell and bring her forward that extra bit. Do you think that? I feel like that's awesome. So we see him under there. There's got to be some sort of defining feature to this turtle that you know that it's him. What do you like? What's on the shell? Is it like the fire rune or something? Like, is it the rune for evocation magic?
It's a fiery red shell. The whole shell is red.
Oh yeah.
But it's like a scorched red. It's not a bright fire truck red. And down the sides, it's got two colorless or silver gray streaks. Yeah, and then just seeing that, she knows.
Yes, that's so good. So we see him come under you. You're able to catch the shell and push forward. The water immediately trying to push you back, trying to keep you away, but he swims with all his might. You are inches away from the shard, and you grasp it. You grasp the shard. You have it in your hand. You can feel it. It is as cold as ice. The darkness around you, around them, begins to pour away, revealing once again the open chamber below. The shard rests firmly in her hand, its color a deep blue that seems to swim across its surface, ever active. It is as thin and sharp as a knife. Below, the ocean's waves of the sphere crash to the floor, sending ripples out along the edges of the plane, and the gas recedes as the waves crash against the mimics, who are at this point frozen in some spell, about to break in only a few moments. Ilion was able to hold them here. As the water hits them, they dissolve. But the surface of the water does not settle. As the waves careen and spike out, they grow and freeze in place, forming a deadly floor of jagged ice. It is now that you two realize that you are falling. What do you do? Your previous fly enchantment for just you, just being this close to the shard, I think it's ended. But you're falling towards this. Like, just imagine the surface, just huge jagged blades.
Oh shit. At that point, I think Aelion would remove his mask and would featherfall the both of us.
Yeah. Does he does that in the moment? Is it like a last second thing? Like, maybe he can't get the mask off and you have to like help him because he's in this form, and you're both falling. You get the mask off. I think the mask falls to the side. That was its last use anyway, and just shatters against the spikes. And it's like a last minute spell where, and you guys are just. this close to those spikes, this close. And I have a feeling he does a very big, just like, and what do you do? Because this is scene right here. The next scene, you're getting out of this place.
She doesn't even react to him. She's just the sight of the shard in her hand. You can see the glow reflect in her eyes.
Yeah.
As she's just in awe over it. Something they have worked for months, almost a year to grab.
How to describe you holding this thing? It feels like you were holding every surging river that the world has carved into its surface in one place. There is that much power in this shard. You wouldn't dare wield it. You think if you did, it would destroy you.
Okay.
Oh man, excellent. So our next scene is immediately, because I think it's at this moment that we cut to you guys. We see that spectral door again. It comes back the other way, and you form out of the mist. The open air of the pocket plane is sucked away, and we leave behind its dense weight for the cool feeling of familiarity. They're back in the stone hallway of Blackford Castle, and into the moment they had recently left. The only sound is the storm outside. It surrounds us once again. Ilion turns to you. We have to. And it is in this moment that his whisper to you, we have to, he's unable to complete it. It shatters as the blasting of several glass windows at the end of the great hall echoes forth. Pillars of red smoke splash into the walkway, revealing within them wand and stave-wielding casters. We can hear their incantations being called out, their voices booming in the hallway. They volley spells at you as suddenly as their violent entrance. What do you do? There is, like, looking... So this is the hallway we're in right here. I'm going to ping it.
Okay.
They are here. This is the only way to go. Yeah, they have...
rush for the door. I mean,
yeah, you're rushing for the door. The spells are flinging. I think we easily see Ilion just spending spell slots, man. Just counter spell, trying to block, and he's just like, run! He's immediately worried about you. He's immediately fearful for you. You can see it in his face. And you guys are moving. You guys are bolting down the hallway towards this huge set of doors. The sound of the cathedral doors slamming open echoes across the empty pews. We see the two companions racing down the aisle and toward the great glass window depicting Ogma, the god of arcane knowledge. You remember that in the plan, this was the alternative escape point. Well, it's probably the main escape point. Actually, no, this was the escape point. You know that there is supposed to be a ship waiting for you. I think that the security issue here was expected. For sure. So, we can hear the sounds of the spells still being flung behind them, ripping at the frame of the great door to this cathedral. Ilion calls for her to push forward. The ship is in position. He looks down at probably some sort of arcane rune communication device that he has in the very moment. Shatter the glass. I'll cover our escape. I'm right behind you. He pushes her forward and then slips something into the sleeve of his palm, but only we see that. Okay. how do you blast this? What do you do to get this? What does it look like? I'm giving this over to you for how does this window get the hell out of your way? This full plain glass window.
Well, behind us, she sees Ilion
Covering you.
covering me, dropping dispels,
Yes.
counter spells, junk like that.
Yeah, as they make their way through the door.
I think she's going to turn quickly and overhand, like baseball pitch, the spell sting powder pouch.
All right. Yeah, it blasts. It blasts in the area, completely shrouding it. Is it between? He's kind of a little bit distance off. Is it between you and him?
I think in the moment she tried to throw it past him, but the weakness from nearly drowning in the void earlier, it would land probably right at his feet.
Right at his feet. All right. Okay, yeah, it lands right at his feet, and the smoke billows forward. Oh boy. Okay. How do you bust the window? It's however you want. This window breaks. How does it happen? This is killing me.
In the moment,
Yeah.
not knowing what to do, knowing she's not strong enough to grab any of the pews or the furniture. I think in desperation, she would look at the window and she would hold out the shard toward it.
Oh. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have the shard.
No?
You don't have the shard. you don't have the shard in the moment. You might have to that might be a point where we have to pick something else. You don't have the shard, and I'm going to DM in here because this is a solid story. In this moment, you don't reach for the shard. I know that's like the most. Don't do that as a dungeon. You don't think of the shard in the moment.
Oh no! Okay.
You don't think of the shard in the moment. So I will describe the environment to you to give you a little bit. There is a silver podium, sitting right in front of the glass windows. You can have something on you that you didn't before. Like, I know I gave you a set of items, so if there's something that you think would just be badass for breaking this window that you just want to plug in there, I ain't saying no. I ain't saying no.
Trying to think of something else.
It was good, but it
So she looks down at the same hand she was going to hold out, and she grabs the brass stone.
Oh yeah! Oh fuck! Yeah. No, that's the perfect one because it still should have a use.
Brass bark stone, and she kind of whispers into it and throws it as fast as she can. You can see it like fall off her fingers, like she almost can't get it out of her hand. She gets enough momentum in it, but it looks like it would have broken her fingers if she held onto it. Oh
yes! Oh, that's so cool. Can you hold that up? Can you hold up the stone?
Yeah. The brass bark. So the description is simply by the user's will, the stone can weigh as much as 1,000-pound boulder, or be as buoyant as a twig floating on the surface of a pond. So it's like, I mean, it's shaped like
it's like this. Yeah. So that will obliterate the glass. Absolutely, like getting a 1,000-pound boulder hurled at it. Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing. Okay, perfect. As the broken glass window and its vision of Ogma, the god of knowledge, give way into the stormy night's wind, the white sails of the ship can be seen below. Ilion was right. The ship is here. Do you leap? This is your moment to leap.
Leap of faith. She steps back a couple steps.
Yep.
And just gets as much strength into a sprint as she can.
It's in this moment that time for us, the viewers, seems to slow. Valphine, this is a memory you've returned to many times. Our shot turns to within the cathedral. looking out over the pews and the side of the room. Stepping from the shadows behind one of the many drapes, we see the hooded and cloaked Valphine of the present. Across your eyes is the visible sheen of tears welling within. You watch this memory play out, as you have 1,000 times before. It's never gotten easier. You hear the sound. And in this moment, that sound persists, like the ticking of a clock. We see the reflection again. The pinpoint of blue light spinning in your eye. A sliver. The sails of the ship below dissolve away. An illusion. Floating among the night sky are several Brotherhood wizards, its architects. We see her head, your head, turn slightly for only a moment in your fall as you look back. Ilion can be seen. The cloud from the spell snipe powder has blown away around him. He is in a lunging stance at the center of the aisle. A long stride from the window's edge. Around him, those who were once chasing are no longer. The Brotherhood stand with a calm smile on their face, each more cruel than the last. Crueler still, they now wait patiently at Ilion's side, watching the fruits of their labor blossom before them. Our shot returns to the present Valphine, that spinning silver of light in your eye as you watch. The primordial shard soars across the room, turning one point over the other. It carves slowly through the air, flames wisping off its pristine, beautiful edges. Ilion used his magic to project it forward. Our shot follows the shard as it slowly passes down the aisle, above the silver podium and through the shattered window pane, across the stormy night sky still filled with the falling shards of glass and raindrops frozen in place, each reflecting the blue light of the spinning shard. It plunges into her exposed back. We see the strike hit mid-air as both the pain of the shard and the realization of your betrayal. We see your youthful form twist. It hits you all at once, as if you're reliving this moment again. A white light flashes out where the girl was once falling. The girl you once were. She's gone. The vision with her. That is everything I have written. Where did you wake up? That's you. That's you. You tell me where you woke up. And that after that, I know what you did, but we don't have to expose that. You could just tell me where our final scene is, where you wake up, and you could tell me what the wound looks like in your back. Because it ripped away your clothes. At least the back.
I think she would wash up on a beach.
Oh yeah.
And not like the sunny white sand beach kind. Crag rocks and rain.
Pattern down.
Yep. Darkness, fog. too weak to move as she lays there in the dirt and the sand and I guess the blood at this point.
Yeah.
And where the shard embedded itself is a faint, in the darkness, a faint blue glow, and it spiderwebs out across the skin, light pulsing from the center periodically, and it seems to crawl up her back. Nasty, it's just covering between the blood and the arcane energy that's swirling around it.
Yeah. And where Valphine's story takes her from here, I think we'll have to leave that to a future, maybe a future flashback, or we'll maybe find it out during the game, a little bit more of her past. The betrayal of Ilion. You have seen that memory. I don't know how many times you've gone back, at least 1,000, to watch to why did he do that? He seemed confident in the moment, exactly what he was doing.
The last look on his face?
The last look on his face was a look of absolute determination. And it's just, a lot of it doesn't add up. But, yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is a memory that shaped her big time. Big time.
Shit.
Blasting out that window. And, oh, yeah. Jeez. Jeez. Oh, man.
Holy shit.
Well, that is our flashback. Oh, that was fun. that was
yeah. Yep.
That was
good.
So good. Oh, I
like what you wrote. I like it.
Thank you. I was so happy to bring you in and turn it to be like everything freezes. This is the moment you because it's not just a flashback for flashback's sake. This is literally you using your elven trance ability to dip back into a past memory, one that you've relived a few times and still don't have any answers for. Yeah. Oh boy, it's great. And yeah, the shard is straight up in your back.
What is that?
That is that's
you play the animation.
Yeah, there's like what
That's ridiculous. How come you never use that?
It's a lot to turn on, but yeah, you're all magicked up, man. You're all magicked up. Oh
That's
boy.
hilarious.
Yeah, we have this thing. How did you like him talking to you there? Whatever that thing is. I'm the beginning and the end.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yep.
It's crazy.
Did not expect that. Nope.
Yeah, like whatever you got in your back, whether it even exists anymore. I think you don't even know if the shard is still in your back, or if this is just the wound, if that's all that's left, or what the situation is with that. But I think we know at last, and I'll make sure this goes to other tomb players so that they can watch. I think we know at last a little bit more about why Valphine has these issues.
More than just physical.
Too good. Too good. Josh, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh yeah. Thanks for giving me the chance here.
Oh yeah, so good. Thanks to anybody who joined in on this stream to check it out, whether you're listening in live or you're listening in after it's been posted on YouTube or posted on Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us, whether it's your morning, afternoon, evening, doesn't matter. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you continue to have a great day, and we hope to see you again for some Tomb of Annihilation on Mondays, 7:30. We got a good December lineup, so tune in. We got a good Mondays, and then there'll be a Saturday thrown in there. I'll make sure to put it in. But yes, join us in Tomb to learn more about this guy and then this little lady he plays, so that we can discover more within the Tomb of Annihilation. Thanks for joining us, guys. Take care. Bye.